So Rio is a little less than 2 years or so away now. Imagine yourself now with an Olympic gold medal hanging around your shoulders. I mean, that has to be, and forget world records, although that is part, I know, of the future too. This particular barrier that needs breaking, but that has to be the goal for you, does it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been my goal from the moment I touched the wall in London until I touched the wall in Rio. Olympic gold is probably, along with the world record, the two sort of achievements that I haven't got yet. So
yes.
That's definitely what I'm aiming for and what I think about a lot.
There's a lot of talk, isn't there, about this sub 47 second 100 metres freestyle mark. You are the fastest, aren't you, approaching that mark without the famous polyurethane suits, which of course are now banned.
Yeah.
Is it achievable by you or anybody else, do you think?
I think I can achieve it.
Do you?
I think it's a realistic goal of mine that before the end of my career I'd like to drop below that 47-second barrier. I remember when I was about 16, I said to my coach, you know, I'd love to do something that nobody else has ever done. And he said, well, 47 seconds. And I said, yeah, do you think people could swim 46 seconds? And he said, oh, I don't know, but you could always give it a try. And then a few years later, obviously the super suits came out and a couple of guys went under the 47-second barrier. And I was actually quite disappointed by that because these suits made something that was such a monumental achievement seem less so. So for me, it's a really important goal of mine to get under that barrier and prove that it is possible with the human body, not with a super suit.
Okay, so it's obviously, your view is obviously that it's right that those suits are now banned.
Absolutely,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. Well, a final thought then as we approach next year's World Championships and then the Rio Olympics in 2016 and the balance of power, if you like, in the nations that are at the top of the swimming tree, as it were. As we've mentioned before, Australia is a very proud swimming nation. Usually the rivalry has been, I suppose, with the USA, but now we have China, don't we? Legitimately now China, as opposed to some 10, 15 years ago. Where do you see that balance of power shaking down for Rio?
Yeah, I think the medals are definitely, certainly a lot more evenly spread now than they were. Probably if you look back to 2004 Athens Olympics was the last time that Australia and America really did dominate. Now we're seeing really serious rivalry from Asia and from Europe as well.
Yes.
Particularly in my events, the French have become very strong and have really started to challenge. And then at the Commonwealth Games, the English team was also really strong. So we're really starting to see a spread of medals, and that's something that I think is hard in particular for the Australian public to recognise, is that it's not just us versus America anymore. You know, we're taking on the whole world when we go to a swimming
And is that something you welcome?
Yeah, I think it's really good for the sport. I think you know, it could become a bit dry if it's just Australia and America. I never know where my next opponent's coming from. You know, there's 18-year-olds swimming really fast in Brazil, and then young guys swimming fast in China. So keeps you honest, it keeps you on your toes, and I think it keeps the level of swimming rising and rising.